got a really cool looking matte black frame right here. This is a brand new bike from Urtopia. This is a carbon one step through, but not the one you've seen before. As I understand it, I'm the very first one to get my hands on this bike. This is one of the prior versions. Obviously it's a different color, but that's not what I'm pointing out, because gone on this new bike is the dot matrix display. And then they've added a couple of things, but also lowered the price. So this is not a bike to compete with the original carbon one step through, but another option. It's gonna be $200 less. Instead of the extra techie AI type features and the dot matrix display, you are getting a more traditional center mounted color display, and probably one of my favorite changes, you're getting a throttle. So thank you, first off, to Urtopia for sending me this bike to review and giving me kind of like the chance to be the first one to get my hands on it and ride it. Unfortunately, for some weird reason, you can see all our lights are off because the power is out everywhere in downtown Grass Valley today for reasons I don't know. So we're gonna have to come back to the dyno run later and test the power output on this. But right now what I'm gonna do is go ride it around. Let's see how this thing handles, how it stops. Running hydraulic Tektro disc brakes. We've got a Shimano Acera, what does this say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-speed drivetrain. And probably one of the most amazing things about this bike is that somehow it comes in at a staggeringly light 36 pounds without accessories. But the point is, this is a very, very lightweight bike. All right, feels comfortable. The handlebars are very adjustable, and I'm gonna start off doing something that I only do on bikes that are light like this, which is ride the bike without any power at all and see how does it ride, because this is a bike you could realistically do that with. Hey, there's a trike. Hello. Well, so far, feels really nice. It feels like a bike. Well, that's interesting. I've never seen a button like that before. So I pressed the throttle and it didn't activate immediately, but it had a little pop-up on the screen that said, press again to activate the throttle. Must be like a safety thing, so you don't bump it and have the bike take off on you. So I activated the power once I got to a hill because I needed it. So this bike is using a torque sensor, very, very smooth. So far, very, very quiet. And for the assist levels, we've got Eco Mode, Tour. It's like the next one is called Smart, and then Boost, and then Turbo. And turbo feels pretty quick on the flats. I'm not expecting huge things power-wise because this bike's intention is lightweight. But so far it doesn't feel too bad. We'll have to do a few steep hills and see how it performs. But man, does it coast easily. Once you get rolling, it just moves. It scoots right along. I'm personally liking the turbo mode, even though that's obviously gonna drain the battery faster, but it's fun. All right, turn down to boost. That's a nice setting too. Now the battery on this is smaller than average, but remember, lightweight bike, that's what they're going for. And when the bike rolls this easily and is this light, you're gonna get more range for a given battery size. All right, this is quite a bit of a climb. Oh, you know, I don't need to be all the way down in first gear. Bumped it up to turbo mode. We'll go into like third gear up here. So this, honestly, this climb's pretty easy like this. We're not going super fast. We're doing like 7 miles an hour. But this is just about effortless. I can't say effortless because this is a torque sensor and I'm using it, not using the throttle, see? And so far, the bike is handling like every other Urtopia bike I've ridden, which is just really nice. Smooth, quiet, extremely stable. Some of the other carbon bikes I was really impressed with the stability, and they were running like, what was it, 18-inch wheels on their little folding bike, 20-inch wheels on the Joy, which was the last one I reviewed. So this one is bumping up to, pretty sure they're 700Cs. That's the same diameter as a 29. And so no surprise that this one rides nice and stable on that wheel diameter with the stiff carbon frame. The handlebars have a nice sweep back to them, and then the stem is adjustable. Oh, I should have shifted down a bit for that. Am I gonna make it? Lesson learned. Make sure to shift down before you hit a hill. So it doesn't have enough power for me to like throttle out of that situation all on its own. I gotta be helping it along, and if you're on the wrong gear, it's gonna be a struggle. Remember to ride this more like a bike and shift appropriately. Most of their bikes don't even have a throttle. I think the Joy was the first one I rode that did. The rest of them are all just pedal assist bikes, which makes sense for what they do. Press the throttle again to activate. Okay, so I'm thinking the throttle is really more of a flat ground thing. Let's try it now that it levels out a little bit. There we go. Now I can take a little bit of a break. So we're doing 15, we're speeding up. It did say 20 mile an hour max, which can be turned up to a 25. I assume 25 is just the max power, and that's gonna be kind of a class 3 mode. Right now we're set up as a class 2. Obviously you could just disable the throttle and this could operate as a class 1. See, now, this is where this bike gets fun. I've done all the climbing, and now I just have a ton of downhill. And this bike just wants to go. Whew. I guess we're getting our first taste of braking power, which is good. Tetra hydraulic brakes. I think they're 180 rotors. That's gonna be plenty. This bike doesn't weigh very much, so it's the rider weight that really matters at this point. And we just hit 30 miles an hour coasting down that hill. That's where you're gonna feel the speed of this bike, is on the flats and the downhills. On the uphills, I think you just have to kind of sit back and relax and take your time. And like I said, with the adjustable stem, the swept back bars, the ride is very upright, really comfortable, and it's quite nice. Average rider is gonna be totally fine climbing hills with this because of its low weight. Whew. But that's a lot of strength and stamina. It's a little borderline for me. All right, break time. Nice to have that throttle to just cruise for a little bit. It does have a bell. This is definitely like a city road bike, commuter style bike. No suspension. Don't really need it on city streets. Nice thing to have for comfort. But again, priority on this bike is weight. And a rigid fork is lighter than a suspension fork. There's just no way around that.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey, do you have any idea how this electricity runs on this street?
Nope, but everybody's out of power.
Okay.
It's supposed to come back on around noon, so.
Where it went down. I'm walking around, I'm looking, I'm going,
Oh.
wait a minute. For a major power outage like this, don't you have to have...
It's all around downtown, so...
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it's not just this street.
Oh!
So, might as well just enjoy the sunshine for a little while.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
Have a good day. I mentioned that the motor was quiet, or at least I said the bike was quiet. I was assuming or presuming. I don't know the right word. I was talking about the motor. I will say also, fenders, not rattling. No like no clunky, loose rattling noises from the bike anywhere. Now there are bikes that have more power than this for less money. There are bikes that have a bigger battery and more range than this for less money. There are bikes that have bigger brakes for less money. All of that sounds bad, but here's the thing. There aren't really bikes that are lightweight like this, with carbon frames, good components, quality specs for this price. If you want a lightweight bike and that's your priority, normally you would have to go spend a substantial amount of money, potentially double the price from one of the major brands to get a light carbon fiber bicycle. So when I say I like the price, it's because I like it for what it is. The color display I like. It has speed, it has assist modes, we got battery percentage, we have our odometer, trip meter. The bike has headlight, tail lights, very smooth torque sensing. Well, the battery's a bit small, but any of the downsides to this bike are all things that if you changed would take away from its lightweight nature. So that's a hard one to say the battery being small is a downside, because that's kind of part of the intention and design of the bike. And again, you go back to low rolling resistance, lightweight, then you don't need the battery to be as big. So it's a trade-off that in this scenario makes sense. One thing that's pretty cool about that, with the battery being small, instead of basically including a smaller, cheaper charger that just still takes several hours, it says it comes with a fast charger that charges in 2.5 hours. That's actually pretty unusual for a bike. Usually it's like 6-7 hours for a full charge. They decided to do that quicker. I think that's pretty cool too. Hello.
Hello. How you doing?
That's all I got. I'm already over 20.
Yeah.
But look, I'm speedy. I was just trying to think of downsides to the bike. So is there any downside to this that doesn't affect the weight? I don't have one yet, because I feel bad if I don't come up with something negative.
Something negative. I'll think about it. I don't know.
Okay.
There and everything.
I mean, for the weight,
Yeah.
again, anything that doesn't sacrifice weight.
Yeah. Think about it.
Okay. Well, you can go ahead. We'll see if he thinks of anything when he gets to the shop. I know Brian at the shop did a little test ride on it after putting it together. The bike he rides is nothing like this. It's fat tires, it's low to the ground, it's heavier, he's running dual batteries, and he was like, I really like this bike. He loved it. But that's where I'm at right now. So far, the only negatives I can think of are things that, if you changed, would affect the weight, and that clearly is the goal of this bike. Make a great, low rolling resistance bike with nice quality components that is very, very light, and I think they did an excellent job of that. Onto the nice new smooth pavement. Oh, this road I used to come down in other videos is like testing suspension and seeing how good or bad suspension was, because the road was that bumpy, and now it's like perfectly smooth. It's wonderful for this bike now. I'm kind of glad they fixed it. We've got a little tail light here, but nice shifting derailleur setup, very smooth pedaling, nice step through design, very stiff, solid frame that is just really stable, nice to ride. We've got a through axle up front. We've got fenders that don't rattle around and make noise. Battery is easily removable. Nice quick charging port. There's the adjustable stem, throttle, shifter, grips. The buttons are nice and clicky and tactile. Here's what the display looks like. Like I said, you've got the off, which you can actually use on this bike. Eco, Tour, Smart, Boost, and Turbo. Oh, I didn't even notice that while I was riding. So if you put it on Eco mode, it estimates how much range you have in that mode. So Eco's 48, Tour's 29, Smart 24, and you've got your little headlight right up here. They are small, but they are actually pretty bright. I had like the same headlight set up. I'm pretty sure it's the same light on the Urtopia Joy, and we actually got back on a ride during the dark and I had to use that and it worked pretty well. Internal cable routing down through the fork. I mean, really clean setup. They got bosses on the fork for mounting racks. There's bosses on the back for mounting a rear rack. I think they really thought of everything that this bike needs. So I love that there's another new lightweight option, that the price is coming in under 2 grand, 36 pounds. That to me is just the most amazing thing about this. That is so incredibly light. That's not something we see very often. Let's wrap this all up with a dyno run. I don't expect a ton of power or for this to be very high on our leaderboard, but I wanna know what the real numbers are. And I think for the weight, it's gonna be really good. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so nope, didn't quite get to the 500 watt mark, but that's okay. 12.83 pound-feet of torque, 464 watts. So that's the official numbers. I will go ahead and put these on the board, and all of this data, if you didn't know, is on our website, area13ebikes.com/dyno. So if you want to look through any of the dyno runs I've ever done, compare bikes, I have it actually to where you can sort and filter by motor type, by bikes with pedals, by motorcycles, to make the information easier to digest, because there's more and more information filling up the board over here. This is how we finish off the Urtopia Carbon 1 step-through classic, a great bike. We are just basically announcing this to the world and telling people about it, and we've already sold one. So it's just a great bike, even just from one sitting here. In the time that I've made this video, we've had one leave the shop. If you want to check one out in person, come down to Area 13.